wide shot reveals the silent, vast cosmos. The colossal Saturn V-REX rocket, pieced together from thousands of white and black LEGO bricks, glides smoothly through a breathtaking ocean of twinkling, transparent star plates. A low cinematic bass rumble is the only sound of the vacuum. Inside the cockpit, the soft, peaceful white LED lighting suddenly flickers erratically. With a jarring digital bizarre, the cabin is bathed in a bleak, flashing emergency red. A piercing, rhythmic beep, beep, beep alarm shatters the calm. Floating weightlessly in zero gravity, Grog and REXY jolt in shock. They exchange a deeply worried, silent glance. Grog swims through the air, pulling himself along the dashboard to reach the central console. On the smooth tile monitor, a stark red battery icon flashes urgently right next to a graphical representation of a jammed, folded solar panel. Grog taps his yellow plastic finger clack-clack against the screen. His shoulders visibly slump, and his chest deflates in a heavy, exaggerated, silent sigh.
Why?
Twisting his body, he pushes off the console and glides swiftly to the storage locker. He grabs his heavy pearl gold diving helmet, still sporting its signature white daisy, and snaps it over his head with a solid, echoing click. Drawing his trusty gray wrench from his leopard print loincloth belt, Grog brandishes it high in the air, shaking it with pure, silent determination right in front of REXY's face. Still strapped into the captain's chair, REXY raises his impossibly short, stubby arm, giving a tiny thumbs up and nodding his massive, heavy head in firm support. Grog swims backward into the airlock chamber. A thick, heavy brick door slides shut behind him with a dull thud. Inside the cramped airlock, Grog grabs the end of a thick black Technic safety tether. He jams it into the safety stud on his belt with a sharp snap. He presses the glowing red release button. The outer airlock hatch slowly grinds open, revealing the pitch-black, bottomless void of space. From an external camera angle, Grog slowly steps out of the ship, floating weightlessly into the cosmic expanse, the black lifeline trailing infinitely behind him. Using his hands, Grog grips the studded ridges of the rocket's hull, pulling himself hand over hand toward the jammed solar array. His trajectory takes him floating directly across the massive, panoramic main windshield of the cockpit. Inside, REXY has his giant snout pressed completely flat against the glass, peering anxiously into the dark. His hot breath fogs up a large circular patch on the coal pane. Drifting past, Grog spots REXY's incredibly goofy, innocent face smushed against the window. A mischievous spark lights up the engineer's eyes. Breaking his momentum, Grog hovers perfectly still right in front of the glass. He taps his wrench clack-clack against the pane to get the dinosaur's attention. Recognizing his friend, REXY's face lights up, and he happily waves his tiny hand through the glass. Grog leans in, pressing his bronze faceplate right up against the window. Using both hands, he forcefully pushes his yellow plastic cheeks upward, crossing his dotted eyes and contorting his face into the most horrifying, grotesque alien monster grimace imaginable. The camera pushes in for an extreme close-up of Grog's distorted, mocking face magnified through the convex glass of the windshield. Inside the cabin, REXY's printed black eyes shrink to tiny dots in absolute soul-crushing terror. Letting out a silent, breathless shriek, REXY tumbles backward through the zero-gravity air. He covers his eyes with his tiny arms and tucks his heavy tail firmly between his legs, genuinely believing a hideous space beast is attacking the ship. In his blind panic, REXY's thrashing tail accidentally smacks a bright red emergency lever on the console. Clang! 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 Thick, heavy metallic silver shutters instantly crash down from the cockpit ceiling, completely and utterly sealing the windshield in darkness. Left alone in the vacuum, Grog clutches his stomach, tumbling head over heels in the zero-G environment, laughing so hard in complete silence that the white daisy on his helmet vibrates furiously. His prank successful, Grog grabs the hull studs again and continues his spacewalk toward the ship's right flank. Grog finally reaches the two massive, translucent light blue solar panels, which are stubbornly folded inward, jammed together. He clicks on his shoulder-mounted flashlight, aiming the tight beam directly at the hinge. The culprit is revealed, a jagged, dark gray asteroid piece wedged deeply into the mechanical joint. Grog wedges his gray wrench into the tight gap. He braces his legs against the hull, his plastic muscles tensing as he heaves with all his might. With a sharp, satisfying crack, the asteroid piece is violently dislodged, spinning wildly out into the deep abyss. Instantly, the massive solar panels spring open, unfolding like magnificent, glittering wings that catch and reflect the distant starlight. Inside the pitch-black cockpit, the brilliant white LED lights surge back to life. System power is fully restored. Rexy peeks nervously through his tiny fingers, takes a look at the bright lights, and breathes a massive sigh of relief before pressing the button to retract the heavy window shutters. Outside, Grog raises his wrench high above his head, striking a glorious, triumphant victory pose against the backdrop of the Milky Way. But hubris is a dangerous thing in space. His overly enthusiastic, forceful swing throws his center of mass completely off balance. His body spins, and his back slams brutally against the hard plastic hull of the ship. The physical rebound acts like a springboard, punching Grog's body violently backward, rocketing him away from the ship at terrifying speed. The Black Technic safety tether snaps completely taut. The line stretches dead straight, vibrating under the extreme tension. The camera zooms in on the plastic safety stud connecting the tether to Grog's belt. A tiny hairline fracture appears in the plastic. Snap! The stud shears completely off. The lifeline whips away, fully detaching from Grog. From a super wide angle, Grog is seen shrinking into the distance, his arms and legs flailing and clawing desperately at the empty, frictionless vacuum, drifting further and further from the colossal rocket. Absolute panic sets in. Grog tries to do the breaststroke, kicking and swimming in the void, but with no air resistance, he generates zero thrust. The gap between him and the ship widens by the second. Inside the cockpit, Rexy presses his face against the newly opened windshield, a warm smile forming as he prepares to welcome his friend back. The smile vanishes instantly. His eyes widen to their absolute maximum. He sees the tiny flailing speck of Grog drifting helplessly into the cosmic black hole. Rexy goes into a frenzy. He throws himself against the glass, pounding his tiny, useless arms tut-tut-tut against the pane in sheer, agonizing helplessness. He looks down at his ridiculously short arms. They are completely useless for a rescue. Rexy's shoulders slump in total, crushing despair. Suddenly, with a bright ping sound effect, a translucent yellow light bulb brick magically pops into existence, hovering right over Rexy's head. He has a brilliant idea! Rexy whips his massive body around, staring intently at his enormous 4-segment tail. A close-up reveals the tail's new upgrades. Grog had recently armored it with gleaming metallic silver slope bricks, capping the very tip with a sharp, heavy-duty, great technic hook. Rexy waddles at top speed toward the rear of the ship, sliding into the aft airlock chamber. He yanks the release lever. The rear hatch blasts open, venting a quick whoosh of white air particles into the void. Rexy digs his white-plated toes deeply into the studded floor at the edge of the door frame, anchoring himself like a mountain. He backs his heavy bottom up to the edge and thrusts his entire massive armored tail straight out into the freezing vacuum of space. From Grog's perspective in the void, he has squeezed his eyes shut, accepting his grim fate. Suddenly, a colossal silver-armored tail extends from the distant ship, waving back and forth like a giant prehistoric fishing rod. Grog's eyes snap open. His mouth trembles with overwhelming emotion. He stretches his arms out as far as they will go. Inside the ship, Rexy scrunches his face, gritting his teeth in a silent roar of exertion, straining to extend every single hinge joint in his tail to its absolute limit. The tail swipes hard to the left. Swish! A complete miss. Grog shakes his head frantically, pointing his finger to the right. Rexy whips the tail to the right. Swish! Another miss! The distance is growing critical. Rexy takes a massive deep breath, puffing out his tan belly. He channels every ounce of his prehistoric strength, launching one final devastatingly powerful tail whip straight down the middle. In ultra slow motion, the gray Technic hook slices through the vacuum, rocketing straight toward Grog. Clack! The hook perfectly, miraculously snags the tiny broken loop of the tether still attached to Grog's loincloth belt.
I'm safe!
The line jerks violently tight. Grog's deadly outward drift is brought to an instantaneous jarring halt. Grog throws both arms around the armored tip of Rexy's tail, hugging it for dear life. He lets out a massive exhale of relief that completely fogs up the inside of his bronze visor. Feeling the sudden, heavyweight catch on his tail hook, Rexy's face lights up with boundless joy inside the airlock. Digging his claws in, Rexy begins to back up, hauling his heavy tail inward with the rhythmic, powerful pulls of a seasoned fisherman reeling in a massive catch. The plastic joints of his legs creak loudly under the immense strain, his thigh muscles visibly tensing. Outside, Grog clings tightly to the tail tip, surfing smoothly through the dark void, pulled rapidly back toward the safety of the open hatch. Grog's body is hauled cleanly through the airlock door. Rexy reaches out and slams the lever. The heavy outer hatch seals shut with a resounding boom! Translucent blue bubbles fill the room as the atmosphere repressurizes. The inner door slides open. Grog floats weakly into the main cockpit, collapsing flat onto the studded floor as the artificial gravity kicks back online. Rexy waddles over excitedly. Because his bottom is so massive, he misjudges the stop and accidentally steps his heavy foot right onto Grog's stomach with a dull thud. Grog coughs silently, throwing his hands up in a playful surrender. He unlatches his incredibly heavy bronze helmet and tosses it aside. Grog's yellow face is covered in sculpted plastic sweat drops, but he flashes the most genuine, heartwarming smile of his life.
Thank goodness you're here, Rexy.
Standing up, Grog walks over and wraps his arms around Rexy's giant tail, affectionately and gratefully patting the silver Technic hook that saved him. Rexy blushes deeply, hiding his face behind his tiny hands. His tail wags so furiously with happiness that Grog, still holding on, is shaken violently back and forth. Grog steps back, looking Rexy dead in the eye, and throws up a highly exaggerated, emphatic double thumbs up. Rexy tries his best to return the gesture, extending his incredibly short thumbs and tapping them gently against Grog's hands with a soft click. The camera slowly tracks backward, moving out through the giant main windshield, capturing the beautiful, silent moment of the two best friends sitting side by side on the floor, celebrating their survival without a single word. A sweeping, triumphant, and deeply emotional orchestral score swells, filling the cosmic silence. From deep space, the majestic Saturn V-REX is seen with its two translucent blue solar wings fully extended, glittering brilliantly in the dark. The ship's lower exhaust ports flare to life with glowing trans-orange fire. The rocket adjusts its trajectory. Far off in the distant cosmic horizon, a bright, colorful, entirely new brick-built planet slowly comes into view. The Saturn V-REX rockets forward, leaving a faint glowing trail of engine exhaust as it hurtles toward this mysterious new world. The dark, sparkling tapestry of the Milky Way pens smoothly across the lens. The audience is left with a profound sense of the universe's vast silence, yet feeling the incredible warmth of a friendship that makes the void feel like home. The text, "End of episode Sao Mui Hai," constructed entirely from smooth gray LEGO bricks, materializes and floats in the center of the screen. Right beneath the text, a vibrant heart symbol assembled from bright red plates appears. A dazzling comet, a long trans-clear piece dragging a glowing tail, streaks across the screen, wiping away the text and the heart in a flash of light. The screen gently fades to absolute black. The screen is pitch black. Suddenly, with a loud, crisp snap, a perfectly circular bright spotlight punches through the darkness, illuminating a pristine white base plate in the center. The tiny, rhythmic click-clack sound of miniature plastic footsteps echoes in the void. Zippy, the glossy black Lego ant, strolls casually into the exact dead center of the spotlight. He looks straight up into the camera lens, his large, innocent black eyes blinking sweetly without making a single sound. Zippy rears back, standing firmly and proudly on his two hind legs. Using his front legs, he hoists a highly detailed Hainan bond tile high into the air. The camera pushes in on the tile. It features a brilliant YouTube red background, crisply printed with the words "Like for subscribe" in stark, bold white lettering. Zippy nods his head furiously, utilizing a rapid 2-frame stop-motion looping animation that exudes pure, hyperactive excitement. A single incredibly cute and joyful squeak sound effect rings out. The spotlight instantly shuts off with a sharp clunk, plunging the screen into total darkness and officially ending the episode.